Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is EQ'd and I am your host, Melvin Ayala, aka Echo Flow. And today I'm going to be reviewing 21 Savage and Metro Boomin's collaboration album, Savage Mode 2. As you guys know, this is the sequel to Savage Mode 1, which was released back in 2016, which I think, at least in my eyes, was kind of like the first album that kind of like brought 21 Savage to the public, to the masses. If you were a fan before him, you probably listened to his other mixtapes or albums. I honestly don't know. I'm not that big into 21 Savage, but I did listen to a few songs from Savage Mode 1, and you can definitely see his growth and like between 2016 and now. I mean, Issa album wasn't really my favorite album that 21 Savage has released, but it was really popular among the masses. Probably my favorite project from 21 Savage has to be I Am Greater Than I Was. He really touched on different themes that I guess I wouldn't really expect from 21 Savage, and it was really nice album. And yeah, this is the duo's actually third collaboration album, first being Savage Mode 1, second being the one with Offset, Without Warning, and this is the third one. So yeah, like I said before, 21 Savage has definitely grown, very highly respected. Metro Boomin, kind of keeping the same vibe he always does, but very popular producer out there. Has worked with many Atlanta rappers, many big rappers in the hip-hop industry. Respected, really, just a producer of high caliber, probably up there with DJ Khaled. Personally, I like Metro Boomin a little bit more than DJ Khaled. But yeah, without further ado, let's just get into 21 Savage's and Metro Boomin's Savage Mode 2. So going into this album, there's actually an intro track featuring Morgan Freeman, which he kind of just walks you through the album the whole time. And I think Morgan Freeman was actually a very nice touch for the album, especially for the first listen. He does a good job of walking you through the themes, summarizing a track, or getting you ready for the next track. Really nice touch with Morgan Freeman. And I think his dialogue was written very well, and I mean, the man has the voice of God. So going into the first actual song, which is actually the second track in this album, Runnin', I think Runnin' was a very solid track, kind of setting the tone for the rest of that album. Metro Boomin coming with a pretty simplistic beat, but very nice for 21 Savage's flow. Lyrically, 21 Savage just kind of talking about life in the hood, life in these neighborhoods that are just full of poverty and crime in the United States, and kind of just rapping about the life that he probably lived, or people living in those type of areas are living now. And he does a very good job in explaining them in his song. And I think this one is actually pretty popular among media outlets, just because it came along with a video which further explains what 21 Savage is rapping about. So personally, not my favorite, but it is a solid song, and I can understand why the masses are raving on about it. Going into the third track, Glock In My Lap, beats a little bit slower. It's a little bit more interesting than the last one. I feel like this one's very thematic, a lot of violins and choirs. Almost feels like a song to a movie or something like that. Metro Boomin, something that I've noticed before, but something that Metro Boomin further shows about his producing. He's really good at producing for rappers. He's really great at phrasing, when to drop out an instrument. And then 21 Savage, keeping that dark vibe, kind of rapping about the same thing he did in Savage Mode 1. And you'll hear a lot of that in this album, but definitely with better lyrical substance. Going into the fourth track, featuring Drake, Mr. Right Now, happier beat, very upbeat. Again, Metro Boomin showing his skill for making beats for rappers. Speaking about his phrasing, he does a lot of this, dropping out the 808 to substitute it with a nice higher melodical line, and then dropping the melodical line out for the 808, and he kind of switches back and forth through that, which creates a nice phrasing for the rappers and their verses. Speaking of the rappers, Drake and 21 Savage doing their thing, very solid verses from the both of them, really. A nice change of pace and topic. Not really talking about violence and stuff like that. Just talking about women, girls, maybe a relationship they're in, maybe like a relationship they're trying to get to. Kind of just really a nice change of topic for me. And for the album itself, not really drowning you with all these violent themes and all of that, which you'll get more of later in the album. Going into track 5, featuring Young Thug, I'm not going to say the name for this one just because I'm not trying to get into trouble. But this one is actually probably my favorite out of the album. Definitely one of my favorites, if not my favorite. If we're talking about the beat is very nice, features this nice melodic E-piano, driving most of the song with nice drum rhythms and the 808 cowbells. So you guys know the 808 bass, which is what's pretty much used in every hip hop song. The 808 cowbell is just that. I'll play maybe like a sample of some of it. You've heard the sound before, and this one usually it's kind of hidden in the background, but for this one, Metro Boomin decided to put it right in your face, cutting through the beat whenever it's played, and I think it adds to the vibe. Kind of switches it up from like this, because the E piano is nice, but definitely can get kind of just like it's hidden in the background, just like you'll probably get over it quick. And so this cut with the 808 cowbell just brings a nice vibe to the song. And then Metro Boomin later switches out the E piano for a nice phased pad sound phasing between your headphones, which also gives a nice sound. The beat's really hypnotic in a way. I really enjoyed the beat. And then 21 Savage has his verse, very nice verse, mainly talking about money and power. Not really talking about violence, kind of talking about like what he has now and like he wants more of it. And then Thugger's verse, kind of similar. His melodic lines over the beat just sound really nice. They complement each other very well. And I think Thugger's verse is probably another highlight for this beat, and probably one of the better verses on this album, from a feature at least. I mean, you can probably tell that I really like this one. This is probably my favorite from the album. Slide In, track number 6. Not really much to say on this one. The beat's kind of basic, not really something that really caught my ear. 21 Savage's verse didn't really stick out to me. Not even like the chorus. The chorus, he's kind of like trying to sing the word slide in, but he sounds very out of tune. The next one, though, is probably another highlight for me. Track number 7, Many Men, talking about just people out to get 21 Savage, and the beat's very nice. Metro again on the keys, and it's just very catchy. Features these legato flutes and choir sounds. It gives it a very sinister sound. And I just feel like, I feel like this whole album was like released right on time for Halloween. Just has this sinister sound for most of the beats. And towards the end, you hear like this little echo from 50 Cent, which I guess 21 Savage in this case is actually echoing 50 Cent, which is very, very nice, reference. Very nice kind of, I guess you could say, tribute to 50 Cent. The next track is just a quick little interlude for Snitches and Rats, which is the next track after that. Just Morgan Freeman kind of explaining, kind of just like setting the mood for the actual song Snitches and Rats, featuring Young Nudie. The beat's really dark, droning pad sounds that just change between 2 chords, which, by the way, if you're trying to get like a sinister or cold sound, it's easier to do that just by sticking with 2 chords, just going up and down from them, which you'll probably hear from a lot of tracks that sound similar to a lot of the songs in this album. I definitely find myself doing that whenever I'm trying to get like that very mobbing or cold, very dark sound in a beat. Going to track number 10, My Dog. This one it's just another sinister piano melody. Lyrics are pretty much in a storytelling style, which I like. 21 Savage talking about, past friends he might have had to live behind just because, they took the fall for him, or just like current friends that he has now that he can always depend on. or even friends that turn turn their back on them, just backstab them. Track number 11, which I'm not gonna say the name for. If kind of like definitely a huge change of pace for the album. Actually, does like this 80s 90s type of beat from Metro Boomin, which it sounds cool. The beat itself sounds fine. Features some nice bell sounds that you kind of get usually hear with these type of beats from back then. And then these synth horns, which you also get from these type of beats. And then 21 Savage's lyrics, they're not bad, but I'm not just really sure if his flow really convinces me. I don't personally, I don't think his voice really fits this type of beat, but I do appreciate him trying to do something different than like your regular trap sound that you hear all the time from him and from other rappers. So I do appreciate that. So going into track 12, this is brand new Draco. Beats very nice, more than 2 chords this time, but only because the 808 bass is changing more often than you hear in the other ones, which gives this sense to that, there's more of a chord progression in this one. The only other time you really hear like other sounds contributing to the chord progression is when you hear a piano later in the song, halfway through the song. Very nice beat. Lyrically, Savage is rapping about his status in the streets. Very clever lines here and there. His verses sound a lot more structured than some of the other ones he has in this album. No Op Left Behind is probably one of my favorites. Another highlight. Beats really nice. Very driving with a nice ambient bell sound. Savage starts out his verse talking about his life in grade school, then quickly moving to a time in his life when he's realized, he wanted money, women, and, his upcoming as a rapper in the music industry. Going into track 14, Rest in Peace to Love, or R.I.P. Love. Really cool beat, very different from any other song from this album. The melody starts with a stuttering thing at the beginning, which I believe Metro Boomin probably uses Gross beat from FL Studio, because he's known to be using FL Studio for most of his beats, if not all. Added piano melodies, probably contributed by Zaytoven, because I believe Zaytoven is also part of this beat. There's a switch up in the vibe, still with that mellow feel, but then it switches back. Very nice. This beat's very structured well. Very structured well. It's structured well, just like all the other beats in this album. Lyrically, I feel like this one definitely has a different side to 21 Savage. What sounds like a past relationship he's had that ruined his view on love. Now he's come to a resolution for it, which is just, never putting another woman before him for future relationships. And then track number 15 to end it. Very nice conclusion to the album. I wasn't really that big of a fan of it just because of the sudden mood change. But after listening to the album, I can say, yeah, this one definitely does a good job of closing out the album. Happier beat to resolve it. And lyrically, it's just like a nice resolution, not only to the last song, but to the whole album in general. Very nice conclusion. And then we have Morgan Freeman's voice to close us out as well. So here are my final thoughts on the album. I thought the album was solid. Personally, I think it's a huge improvement on Savage Mode 1 back in 2016. When it comes to the chemistry between the rapper and producer, I feel like Metro Boomin does carry like the album and setting the mood, which is usually what a producer does anyway. Very structured beats, very nice beats. He definitely knows what he's doing in the studio. 21 Savage, definitely a huge improvement. I'm not going to say that a lot of these songs are like enough to make this one my favorite over his last album, I'm Greater Than I Was, but it's definitely a bigger improvement than the first Savage Mode. He does give us more structure to his verses, a very different style on tracks to keep me interested, and as well as any other listener, I'm sure. If you're a fan of both Savage Mode and I Am Greater Than I Was, you'll probably enjoy this one. So based on all of that, all of 21 Savage's improvements from the last one and Metro Boomin's, setting the tone, setting the mood for a lot of these songs, I think I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10. It's not, for me, it's not a perfect album. I don't really think there's a perfect album out there, especially for me. I can be very critical. I know what I like, but I do feel like this one deserves to be, listened to. If you like trap, if you like 21 Savage, you're definitely gonna like this one. The only reason why I'm giving a 7 out of 10 is just because, it's just a lot of things that we hear before. A lot of other rappers are rapping about the same thing, which I understand is what a lot of people want to hear. An insight into this life they're probably not living, or, just, it's themes that they probably are living. And I understand it just appeals to a lot of people. But we've all heard it before from different rappers. And, I would give it a higher grade if there was just other things that really caught my attention, different themes, and which he does do. I mean, don't get me wrong. Rest in peace. R.I.P. Love is probably one of those things that he changes up, Mr. Right Now, and so for those reasons alone, it's not why I'm giving it like a 5 out of 10 or a 6 out of 10. It's definitely better than Savage Mode 1. It's definitely a 7 out of 10. All right, guys, that's all I have for this review. Hope you guys enjoyed. I just want to make a quick announcement. I am going to be releasing some of the beats you probably hear throughout my videos. I released one, I think, yesterday for the review for Anniversary. I'll probably be releasing the one you're hearing now as part of a Halloween pack, hopefully within the next week. It's almost done. It's not going to be too long, maybe 4 or 5 tracks. I have 2 down for sure. I'm working on a 3rd one. And, making a Halloween kind of, I guess, beat tape isn't too hard. It's just getting the sounds right. And, I mean, if you're a producer, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, if you're a music creator, you know what I'm talking about in general. But, yeah, definitely be on the lookout for that. I'm going to be releasing that for free for rappers to use, for content creators to use in their videos, their gaming videos, whatever you want to use them for. They're going to be free, going to be tagged. And, I mean, I hope you guys enjoy it. And I hope you guys are enjoying the one you're listening to now. But, I mean, that's it, really. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like and comment. Let me know what you think about the album. Let me know what you think about the review. I mean, tell me if you're excited about for free beats, if you're expecting that. And, yeah, just make sure to subscribe. That's all I have for now. And I'll see you guys on the next one.